Parents of Reddit, what are your kids currently attempting to hide from you? A few years ago, I was going through my son's 3rd grade backpack and found a can of ravioli. That's all well, except I never bought any ravioli. When I asked him about it, he burst into tears and pulled out a box under his bed filled with ravioli. He then proceeded to tell me how this girl that picks on him and says they are married gives him ravioli every day and makes him take it. I can just picture this girl's mother telling her the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I'm now picturing a 3rd grader forcing ravioli on another 3rd grader. I just found out that my 6-year-old locks the bathroom door so he can get some privacy. Last night I looked across the kitchen to see the door slightly ajar and my son engaging in his private time, doing push-ups. I didn't say anything, just watched him finish his 5 reps, flex in the mirror, and then walk out of the bathroom. My daughter throws her lettuce under the table for the dog to eat. The dog doesn't like lettuce. Your kitchen floor might need some cleaning at this point in time. Imagine just a giant mountain of lettuce on the floor and the kid says I don't know how that got there. Sounds like an Adam Sandler movie. When I was a teen I came home stoned at least once a week and felt like the beat actor ever after talking to my mom for like 20 minutes while assuming she didn't notice. When I was 20 she asked me if I stopped smoking weed because she really enjoyed our stoned conversations. Sounds like my mom. I would come home so baked and thought it was great that I could fool her and she would always offer me food/snacks. Found out a few years later she smokes too and knew when I would come home high. My daughter is trying to impress me by learning origami. She's 7 and doesn't think that dad can see all the missing paper and the messily but improving a lot paper cranes hidden throughout her room. I bought 2 more reams of paper and just left them out on accident. Lazy old dad not putting up his office supplies. There is paper made special for origami that might help her. Plus it is usually really pretty. I think Amazon should have some for cheap. If anyone else is passionate about the arts and supporting kids' creativity, find your local art classes and donate supplies. Art in underprivileged communities isn't a priority, but it can immensely help kids find ways to express themselves safely. Classrooms are always in need of art supplies to help them do that. My 22-year-old son starts work at 6 a.m. He left the house at 6:30 and came back 30 minutes later. I think he got fired. Or he forgot he had the day off. Oh, that's painful. Got a 12-year-old, and I definitely know his Reddit account cause the little turd used my email to sign up. Must not have thought that one through. I'm too scared to look at it though. That's a rabbit hole you never want to go down. I made the mistake of posting identifying information once. My sister uses Reddit, saw it, realized it might be me, and whenever I was over visiting at my dad's, where she lives, she would stealthily peek at my username until she confirmed it was me. Turns out she had gone really far into my post history. Now I have 2 accounts. Just this morning, a friend of mine told me he saw my 17-year-old son picking cigarette butts out of the ashtray at a gas station. So in one moment, I learned not only that my son is smoking cigarettes, but that he's a goddamn scrub as well. Not sure how to handle it, to be honest. Offer to buy him nicotine gum/patches and offer help to slowly wean off those. If he acts defensive, say I'm not mad and you aren't in trouble. But if you don't pick one of these options and continue digging used butts out of the tray at the gas station, then you will be in trouble. My neighbors across the street have an 18-year-old daughter. Most nights at around 9:30 she has a young man crawl in through her window. I realize this because I'm usually wrapping up our evening dog walk at about that time. I'm not sure, but I've counted at least 5 different young men based on build and race. She is doing a study for school and needs lots of test subjects. Son, 7, ate half my bag of gummy bears. I know. He knows I know. I know he knows I know. I don't think he knows I know he knows I know. So now we wait until he cracks. Update. Son confessed to crime at 7:43 p.m. tonight. My brain point eggs crashed while reading this. My 4-year-old wrote a letter she keeps in her bottom drawer. When me and my husband die she will come home and get it. We are not allowed look at it or touch it, but apparently it says that we gave her loads of money and she gave us loads of pictures. I'm not sure what this says about her or us, but it will be interesting how long she keeps said letter. It's been a month so far. You're raising a lawyer. My kid would get up in the middle of the night and want a snack. He would sneak into the kitchen and eat a whole tomato, except the little circle where it connected to the stem. He hid the little stem circles under whatever was on top of the trash and would go to sleep. We always made sure there were tomatoes for him. I did that with pickles. I'd sneak in the kitchen and just eat my weight in pickles. Everybody's kids here are hiding books to read secretly. Mine's hiding in his bedroom trying to use a glue stick like lip balm. Keep an eye on that. The regular weirdos ate crayons and turned out okay. The kids eating paste were the delinquents. Hey, I ate the paste as a kid and I brained just fine. Himself. It's nearly bedtime. 2-year-old thinks I'll forget to put him to bed if he runs into another room for 30 seconds. If he was a bit older I'd say he was playing Skyrim and thought the stealth system in that game is realistic. My 6-year-old is gobsmacked that I know about the rolling around on the floor instead of schoolwork. No idea the teacher can reach me anytime about the rolling around on the floor. Your kid is a yellow lab. 6-year-olds basically are. My almost 2-year has started telling me crazy stories as if they are real. He recently told me that our dog rides a motorcycle to go play with her friends. Have you confirmed it with your dog that has not riding a motorcycle? He has a crush on the babysitter and tries to draw cards to give to her. He also proposed. He is 6. We went on a trip this summer that involved a plane ride. My son looked at me and said, "Mom, do you think the waitress, flight attendant, is pretty?" I said, "Yes, she is pretty. Why do you think she is pretty?" He giggled and said, "Yes, I think she is pretty. Don't tell though." He's 6. Kids warming up his game early and double checking his standards. That they are not tired, despite the usual crying and making you feel terrible, until they shut their eyes and 30 seconds later asleep. Parenting's a reffing whirlwind of emotions. Man, I'm going through a sleep regression with my almost 3-year-old now. This right here. I put him to bed. We do our routine. No sooner than I shut the door I hear the crocodile tears, yelling he needs a drink of water, which I left on the nightstand next to him and gave him a sip before I left. I tell him this. "Do you want to come have a drink with me, daddy?" I tell him he's a big kid and he can do it. He goes and does it. Comes back to the door. "Do you want to give me a hug, daddy?" This is where he know he's got me and I've got to be strong. I can't say no. I don't want to give you a hug, but at the same time, I know that if I go in there I'm fostering his procrastination and tell him I gave him a hug before we went to bed and I'll give him another when I get home from work. Say goodnight, daddy, when I go to bed. Okay, kiddo, I'll say goodnight once you get into bed. Repeat again 3 minutes later for an hour before he starts saying he needs to use the potty. Like, no shit, you've downed that entire bottle of water. Not a parent, but my parents think I'm hiding a girlfriend. My grandma was convinced this was the case. So when I got one, I naturally didn't tell her. She jokingly told me I could invite my girlfriend to some family outing, so I did. She was extremely confused, and when she asked why didn't I tell her, I just told her that she knew all along. When my son was 5 he stashed a bunch of blueberries under his pillow for later. Problem is, not only did they get squished night 1, but he forgot about them until we changed his sheets a few days later. Ugh. Death. We had a foster kid that hid about 2 handfuls of spaghetti with sauce under his pillow. Found it the next day while he was at school. Got it cleaned up. Never told him we found it. Made sure to have spaghetti twice a week thereafter. Or, I've heard of foster parents that keep mini fridges with food in the kids' room to help them with anxiety. Girlfriend's kids, 20 and 17, like to go work on the car together in the detached garage. Late at night. Yeah, pretty sure they're smoking weed. She likes to make them awkward by asking what they're up to. We see the 3 feet bar, you guys. As a kid my friends and I would actually just go work on the car late at night. We were all pretty big into the Euro tuna scene. We would go smoke weed after the car was done though. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.